If you scroll through business advice online, you'll quickly notice a recurring theme. The assumed engine of modern financial success is unshakable confidence, swagger, and a constant focus on the big picture. But there is a razor-thin line between that kind of confidence and pure arrogance. And when you cross that line, your own ego becomes a silent killer to your net worth. Arrogance creates a very specific cognitive flaw. It causes your brain to become completely fixated on the finish line, the ultimate end goal of becoming a millionaire. By staring so intensely at the horizon, you develop a fatal blind spot for the ground right in front of you. You miss all the small incremental steps and minor adjustments actually required to build a valuable business. Your ego starts to trick you into believing that you already possess all the necessary data to succeed, so you stop looking for new information. An oversized ego functions as a data-blocking flaw, blinding you to the specific opportunities required to build wealth. To understand this knowledge gap, we need to look at a mental model called the Iceberg Principle. The tiny, visible tip of the iceberg poking above the water represents everything you currently know about your chosen industry. Beneath the surface lies the massive, submerged portion of the iceberg. This contains thousands of hidden data points and actionable insights that you actually need to learn to achieve lasting success. An arrogant mind literally deletes this underwater mass from its mental map. It operates under the assumption that the tiny tip is the only thing that exists. Practicing extreme humility is a mechanical necessity. It is the active acknowledgement that the most valuable data remains submerged and undiscovered. The process of building true wealth only begins the moment you map out the vastness of your own ignorance. But when you finally drop your ego, you face an immediate new danger: overcorrection. You might open your intake valve to absolutely everyone, seeking all hidden knowledge at once. This diagram outlines the result of that overcorrection. It is a condition called cognitive overload, where your brain fails to compute the sheer volume of conflicting advice, choices, and opinions pouring in. The bottleneck solidifies. This overload leads directly to decision paralysis, freezing your forward momentum. The mechanical solution is building a strict information funnel to control your incoming data. First, define your exact destination at the bottom, working backward to identify specific skills needed. Second, ruthlessly cut out general opinions, prioritizing high signal quality over quantity. Effectively managing your data flow requires you to restrict your advice strictly to experts who have successfully navigated your exact path. Once you filter your inputs, you reach the final stage of the high-signal wealth system, optimizing the feedback loop for the data you actually let in. This is where most young entrepreneurs make a critical error. They source their feedback from friends and family, relying on this to your feelings. Second, they lack technical experience to provide accurate business data. Accelerating your learning curve requires you to replace that comforting validation with brutal honesty. The ideal sources for this harsh feedback are communities of peers who are currently grinding in the trenches with you, or mentors who are exactly one step ahead. These targeted individuals don't care about protecting your ego. They provide the reality checks necessary to realize when you are heading down the wrong path. Lasting wealth favors the mind humble enough to mac the unknown and ruthless enough to systematize its own learning process.